Welcome back to Day Trade Like a Pro. It's Tuesday, October 6th, and we're looking at the S&P 500 here. I'm going to show you how prediction points have actually been telling us there was a major drop coming here today, and you're going to see that actually played out today. And let's jump. Okay. Welcome back to Day Trade Like a Pro. It is Tuesday, October 6th. We're looking at the S&P 500, and I'm going to show you how prediction points have been telling us there was a retracement coming, and I'm going to show you how we had the right around the top of that, and I'm going to actually show you something that's really useful with prediction points, and I'll show you how that plays out. So let's jump right into it. Pretty straightforward here. The market ended up coming down in here. This is an area that I would call, at a minimum, I would call this a congestion area. And you can see these three prices close together. You might be able to include that one in the congestion area, or that might be the checkpoint. Just kind of depends on how you look at it. Could kind of go either way. But what we could see is that there was not a lot of room right in this area. So the market opened over here and it kind of consolidates back and forth, and we get this sort of congestion. We get a move out of the congestion up into here, which would be the checkpoint, and then pull back down into here, and that ended up being the low for quite a while. And the market moved right up to here and then ultimately moved up right here to 2175 and then sold off. Now, I'm going to show you something. I've been showing you this a little bit, but I'm going to show you how this, all I'm doing here is drawing a fib between this prediction point and that prediction point, because there's about 21 or 22 points between these prediction points. There's a ways to go in here, and so this can be really helpful. The main two areas where, well, let's say the main three areas that I pay attention to. Generally, what I'm looking for here with this is kind of a crash course, is I watch this first fib level. When we come up and we probe through this level, I'm looking right here to see, are they going to pull back from here? Because sometimes you'll get a break and then it will pull back from here, maybe down into one of these levels, and then go up. And then what happens here is that, so that wasn't it. I mean, that sold off from 09 down to 03 or so, so about 6 points, nothing fantastic. You're certainly not running around celebrating that. And then if it doesn't happen from here, I really expect it to happen from here, and I'll keep a real close eye on that 50% level, but really watching for it to happen from here. And if it doesn't happen from here, things kind of start to get kind of crazy. And maybe it'll happen from here, but pretty good chance it's going to happen from that top fib level. So this came up, hit the top fib level without any real retracement in this area. And coincidentally, and I'm doing air quotes since you can't see me, the Trump tweet came out about COVID, or about the stimulus package, and that they're not agreeing on anything right now. And the market just absolutely tanked. Now, I want to show you something that we've talked about a little bit, and when you come back here and you look at this and you say, okay, what here has been tested or not tested? And basically, we would be able to go through, you can see the market broke above here, it came back and it tested that, broke above here, tested that, broke above, tested. And then this is just, this congestion area had just so played out. All these prices have been traded on over and over again. So this congestion area was just really played out here. And what I would do is I would actually just go through and I would just get rid of all of these. I'm not going to, not in my trading I wouldn't, but I do want to show you we're getting rid of all these prices that we can clearly see have played out here. And there's this one right here. In other words, all these have been tested over and over again, so I'm getting rid of those. And then this one, if you actually look here, actually I can't switch that chart, but there was a pretty decent reaction from this 75 area. It bounced about 10 points or so, and then came right through this one. Now look, that's tested, that's tested, that's tested, and see these areas down here. All these are tested. The market's broken, come back, tested. So all of these prices in here, what's important to know is that the next thing that was untested is this one down here. That's really in what we call the market logic. This is the next price that would be logical for the market to trade through, or down to, sorry. And we knew that way back up here. So this slow kind of grind up that's been happening, we knew that at some point this price that got traded through real quick and they never came back and tested, we know that we're looking for them to come back here and test these prices. And then what happened is right before the close, they came down, they tested it to the tick. That's about 90 points from right there, and it came all the way down to there. Now I want to show you real quick in our map service. Okay, let's jump over here and look at map. This is our daily map. This is the offering where really all the magic happens, where we talk about what's actually going on behind the scenes, and we're outlining what's happening with prediction points and the story that the market's telling. And you can see yesterday, this is 5:50 a.m. Pacific time, and we said that right here, another 100 points lower. So, and that is not entirely impossible. And so that was yesterday morning, and then we just reiterated again kind of the same things again today. And what did we have? We had the high here at 21, the low down here, about a 91 or 92 point sell-off, which we talked about yesterday. And there you have that. Is this, that's a fairly decent sell-off. And we'll see what the rest of this is going to bring, which I'll jump over to a chart and show you. But the point that I wanted to make here was that once all of these prices have played out, all this congestion and everything, there's no real support in this area. Now I'm going to reload that, and I think we're going to get to see those prices back on there. But this was really our target down here. And we'll switch that back over. But all these prices had really all played out, and this was really the next area of support if you go through and you follow what was tested and what was not tested. Now, we'll try trades where we might, try for a bounce off of something, but overall, if we bounce from those areas, we're looking to get short at another area. And it just is going to melt right through these after they've been tested and tested and tested. It's going to go right through them. We come down here to the tick, about 90 or 91 points or something. Now, here's what I want to show you that I think is really spectacular about prediction points, is that these are all tested and used and, done and over with. So the market comes right through here, right off the news. This is a 1 minute chart. And comes down here, comes right back up after breaking below the CP. Comes right back up here. And just so that you can see what we talked about yesterday, 75 area, and then another 100 points lower. And so what you can see here is this sell-off came down here. That happened to be 75 to the tick. And then it bounced up to here, about a point or so above the CP. And then the next CP down here is way down here in the 63. So that's like 20-something points from here down to here. And nearly 30 points all the way down to here. And then bounced a really decent bounce from here back up to right there. And then ultimately you can see there was some nice selling that happened late into the session. I want to show you something when the market starts dropping. This is something we use called backfill. So when the market starts dropping, you see where this price is drawn from, this red line right here. These are unfilled prices in the market where the market's going to be likely to come back to those areas. So how likely? Over the last 30 days, we've had 129 prices, and we've had a 97% fill rate over the last 30 days. So 3 out of 100 haven't filled, the other 97 have filled. And so you see this price right here, for example, at 33.74. So when this thing starts really selling off, we'd given 33.75 yesterday, and then the market really starts selling off. This is a very logical first target, and that's really what we're using these for. You can see if I go back here a bit, I will go show you here. If we go back a bit, you can see a lot of times, see how it came up right over here and then ended up dropping from right there. And so they do use this as, if I put it right there, you can see there's some support there, some resistance there. So that does happen, but you can also see right here it came back to the tick and then took off from there. You can see this one right here. Market came right here. We had this price and it stayed here until all the way here. This was 33.05. The high of this move over here at 33, this ended up dropping about 60-ish points to come back down. And you can see a pretty decent bounce off of that area. So that's Backfill, and it has the analytics built into it, which is an extremely useful tool. And then on days like today, I just have to show this off because it's so amazing. This is what we call the box. And this is my time. This is Pacific time, about 8:30. That's 11:30 Eastern time. There was a signal here that went for about, this is about as easy as it gets to follow. This box appears and there's an arrow that says buy or an arrow that says sell. And these are your targets. If you mix it with prediction points, it's gold. But those are, it really helps to identify targets and entries and that type of thing. Anyway, so this dropped here about 4 points. So about 4 points here, about 4 points there, of course on the S&P. And then here's your next buy signal. And that goes from 33.94 all the way up. Notice no sell signal, all the way up to the high of the day. And I'm not saying you got the entire thing, but that was 30 or so points from the low to the high right there. And then here's a new sell signal. And that drops all the way from about 90 down to down all the way down to here about 57. So we could call that about, let's say, 30 points down to 60. And then here's a long off 63 that goes up to 78, so 15 points. And then a short opportunity that goes from 58 down to 45, that's 13 points. And then this is a failed buy opportunity, a failed short, and then this one ends up. The important thing for me is that can I get out of these trades close to scratch? And the answer on these is most definitely. And then this is not going to win 100% of the time. No one's even pretending like that's going to be what's going to happen. It really comes back to your trade management. So then here's your short at 57.50. That ends up dropping about 6 or 6.5 points. Here's another long from 62 up to 72. There's about 10 points. And then here's your long your short that happens over here around 60. And that goes all the way down here to 30, another 30 points. This thing is absolutely insane. It was built for markets that have a lot of volatility. So this thing's just really ridiculous on days like this. It was built for days like this, and it's really what it does. So when the market starts to get really wild or a lot of volatility, I love this thing. It's phenomenal for that. And it's about as easy to follow. I taught my 9-year-old son how to do this. It's not built for consolidating or range-bound markets. You got a consolidating or range-bound market, this thing is not what you want to trade in that. The same way that you would not try and put a screw in with a hammer, you would not trade a consolidating market with this tool. So that wouldn't work. Anyway, so when the market's really moving or has the potential to really move, this thing is what you want to be using. Anyway, those are all part of the Pro Suite. You can learn more about that on the website, but just I just love this tool, and I love days like this when it really gets to show off what it was built to do. So really, really good for that. Anyway, there you go. The low tick of the day. We had the high tick, I think within a tick or so on the using the Fib up there in that strategy, which I've been teaching for many years. So there you have it. And if you would like to check out the Pro Suite, go to the website, check that out, www.daytradelikeapro.com. And we will see you in the live trade signals tomorrow, and happy trading.